Is the Tower of Terror really haunted? Stay tuned to find out. Now, in today's episode, we are going to go behind the scenes on one of Disney's most popular attractions, the Hollywood Tower of Terror. Now, this ride infuses horror and thrill, and I think it is probably the best overall ride that Disney has to offer, from the theming of the queue to the amazing pre-show to just how unique the ride is, moving from a dark ride to a free-falling attraction in just seconds. But do you ever feel like there's something else going on when you're on the attraction, like something in your gut telling you that there's something more creepy going on at this hotel? Well, I'm about to delve into the haunted past of the Hollywood Tower Hotel and figure it all out. Now, before we give ourselves the chills, let's just quickly go through the history of this attraction. When Hollywood Studios opened up as MGM Studios, the Imagineers needed a way to pull guests into the park. They went back and took the blueprints from a previous idea that they had of a free-falling ride, but this time they decided to make it a scarier attraction. Originally, the thought was to include a Frankenstein theme, but then that quickly got scrapped and they decided to use the Twilight Zone series as their inspiration. Now, this attraction follows a lost episode of the Twilight Zone, so it's never one that was actually filmed, but one that they created, pulling parts from previous episodes that the series had to offer and using the own Imagineer imagination. If you're not familiar with the story, it's a pretty simple one to follow. A family checks into the hotel on October 31st, 1939. They are going up the elevator to get to their room, and while they are in the elevator, lightning strikes the shaft and they are transported to another dimension. It opened on July 22nd, 1994. It was an instant hit, and then it quickly spread to many other theme parks that Disney had, but it has just always seemed like the original attraction has been the creepiest of all. Before I tell you what I found out during my investigation, I just want to make it clear that before I started, all I had to go on was a gut feeling that more was happening at this hotel. I'll give you all the stories and evidence that I found, but you can let your own gut decide if this is a tale or the truth. Here we go. Tonight's story on That Disney Girl is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. This, as you may recognize, is my channel, still in operation and waiting for you. I invite you, if you dare, to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, because in tonight's episode, you're the star. And this episode travels directly to the Twilight Zone. Now, not too many stories about the haunting of the Tower of Terror has actually been told, and there's not too many documented, but there is one specific story that I found through my research to just keep coming up over and over again. Originally, I found it on Dr. Disney. As I continued looking, I found broken telephone versions of this own story, and then I eventually asked a few cast members that I knew if they could verify parts of the story, and that is what I have to offer you. So legend has it that one evening, a bellhop was loading guests into the elevator on platform D. As soon as all of the guests were loaded onto the elevator, the bellhop suddenly dropped dead. Pretty creepy, right? So it took a little digging, but I eventually found out that he died of a heart attack. Now, this all sounds like it totally could have happened. It is tragic that it happened, but it definitely seems plausible. Someone could die of a heart attack. That's a totally normal way to go. But the weird thing is that Disney's never documented this. We don't know the name of the cast member, and Disney's pretty good in documenting all of that sort of stuff when it does happen. Back to the story. The ghost wasn't really known to harm anyone, but cast members did notice that if someone ever had a sighting of a ghost around platform D, the lights started to flicker and there would become maintenance issues on that platform. So that's something that cast members started to realize more and more as they heard the story. So I don't know if it's just something that's happening in their own mind or coincidence, but it is pretty creepy that once they know the story, or once someone thinks they saw this ghost, that things start to go awry. So according to the story, every night, each bellhop on each platform needs to ride the ride to make sure that there's no maintenance issues that need to be fixed that evening for the next day. Now, each bellhop would usually ride their ride on their platforms from A through C, but all of the bellhops would ride platform D together in a solidarity sort of way, just to protect themselves from this ghost that roams the hotel. Now, you're probably super skeptical at this point, and so was I. So I decided that I needed to find some hardcore evidence on the ghost at the Hollywood Tower of Terror. So I saw some photos of a specific video on a maintenance check that was done that ghosts appeared on, but then it looked like everywhere on YouTube, this video was taken down. That's pretty creepy, right? But I knew that there must be another place on the interwebs that had this video, and I definitely found it. So on Dailymotion, I actually found the same video that matched the photos of the ghosts that I was seeing on other people's websites and other blogs that I was looking at when I was trying to find out this research. And here it is, let's play it. What you're witnessing is a routine maintenance checkup, much like the ones that are done at the end of the night. Now, after I watched this video, I looked back at other forums that had the photos and what cast members were discussing on that, and one specific cast member was saying that this is probably fake because since the footage was really old and the film was old, so those ghosts that you're actually seeing might just be footage from guests that were on the ride earlier that day, but just because the film was touching, you kind of got an infusion, so it looked like a ghost. But I don't know, it just only happens twice, and the face that you see, I don't know, I'm pretty creeped out. I'm feeling a little bit eerie about it. I think that something might be going on. Another version that I heard of this story was that there's always a bellhop that's walking around the hotel, but always walking in the opposite direction of what he should be walking. Whenever someone calls out to him, he just doesn't answer and he walks away. So this definitely could be the same ghost, and it fits the same description of a cast member bellhop walking around. It's pretty creepy. So I also asked some cast members at Disney, and although they weren't cast members for the Tower of Terror, they did hear about the stories on Platform D. So something else that I actually heard from my friends was that a lot of people like to bring the ashes of their loved ones to Disney and leave them there as their final burying site. Now, Disney has cameras everywhere and cast members that are on the lookout for this, and they are often able to catch it. So the Tower of Terror is actually one of the most popular spots for ashes being dumped, and although a lot of the time it is caught, sometimes it might not be. So we don't really know if there's like 1, 2, or 100 spirits filling the vacancy in the Hollywood Tower of Terror. Okay, so I think I've had enough chilling for one night, but please let me know if you think the Hollywood Tower of Terror is haunted, or if you've had any eerie experiences or more than normal strange feelings when you ride the attraction. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like, and comment on this video. And oh, the next time you tune into a Disney channel on the dark side of YouTube, make sure you know just what kind of vacancy you're filling, or you may find yourself a permanent resident of that Disney girl. Okay, bye everyone.